Hello, traders. Welcome to Price Plan Profit. I'm going to go over the trades that I took today. I had a couple of losses on some swing trades, one in Amazon, one in Ethereum. Both of them were closing below my stop, so I stopped out of both of those positions because no matter what I think the market should do, I follow my plan every single time. Now, I had a great winner in XCL yesterday. Price went all the way to my target. That was 100% winner there. And I didn't make a video yesterday because I really didn't do a lot of day trading at all and just had that one trade as far as my swing trades went. So no video yesterday. But let's talk about the day trading I did today on SPX. If you don't know, this cyan box on my chart here is the PMZ, the pre-market zone. It is what I use to day trade. The only indicator I need to day trade. So you can see on my chart, this was a buy zone that I gave to the room before the market ever opened. And of course, I'm looking for confirmation. Don't understand what I mean by that? I will link a video here at the end explaining how I wait for confirmation before entering a trade in a buy zone or a sell zone. Once the market opened, it was a great short opportunity. If you were aggressive and shorted right below the PMZ, it paid for about 23 points to the downside in the first 15 minutes of the market open. I did not catch this down move. I was looking for higher lows inside of my buy zone. And finally, right here at the bottom, we created this wick low. The next candle gave us the higher low. And at that point, I am finger on the trigger ready to buy calls if price can break above the body of this candle. It did right here at 10 a.m. Eastern time when price broke above 65.86. That is where I went long. My target was the PMZ. Once we hit the PMZ, I put a tight trailing stop on the trade and was stopped out here for a nice gain from 86 to 66.01 is where I was stopped out. So a nice 15 points to start my day off, and I didn't catch a falling knife. I waited for that confirmation before going long. Now, my next trade came to the downside. Once we got above the PMZ here, we made this high and then we made a lower high. At this point, as long as this high remains a high, what I am waiting for is a break below 66.11, and 66.04 by 6600 was my target. That was going to give me a risk of about 5 points to the upside, and my reward to the downside was 7 to 10 points. So I took the trade on this break below 66.11.63. I went short and covered here inside the PMZ. The next trade that set up was here. If you were aggressive and took this wick, I did not, but if you were aggressive and shorted at that sell zone again, for me that would be buying puts, it would have paid another 10 points back to the downside and the PMZ. I did not take that trade. Then I was again watching my sell zone for lower highs. I did not get lower highs here with these two candles. We broke above that previous high. So then I marked the next high which was 66.19. The very next candle gave me a duplication of that 66.19. Then we had a breakdown, but at this point I did not take this trade simply because we were coming right into the cloud and I was waiting and being patient to see what the next candle would do. Were we going to bounce from this 5-minute EMA cloud and then take out the previous day's high and make higher highs? We did not do that. So then on the breakdown, I took this trade. My risk was 2.5 points to the upside was my risk, and as far as my reward, it was 5 points. So I took the trade. I trimmed here at took 2 contracts. It's later in the day, the premium is cheaper and I can afford 2 contracts. So I took 2 contracts. I trimmed here at that first target, which is a trendy edge. Then when price came down back down to the PMZ, I was trail stopped out because at that second target, I'm putting tight trail stops on my position and I was trail stopped out. Then we did indeed make a lower high here, waiting for the breakdown. I did not take this trade right here because I was teaching on the mic doing a Q&A session with the Trendy Room. So no trade here for me because I am not able to be completely focused on the trade. All right. So then the next trade that set up was this higher low and a break above. Now, it's kind of hard to see, but what happened is on this candle here, we made that higher low. Then this wick broke above this body, and so I went ahead and took the trade. Looking back on it, I probably should not have taken the trade. And the reason why is because I had a 4-point risk and my reward being this cloud right here was only a 2-point reward. So not a smart move on my part, but nonetheless, I took the trade and I was stopped out when we made a lower low inside of the PMZ. So stopped out, I took a loss on that trade. Next trade was price below the PMZ. We made a lower high here. We retested the PMZ, and that is where I went short. I trimmed at a previous low, and then I had a tight trail stop as we came down near the bottom, the next target for me. I went ahead and put a tight stop on, and I was stopped out there. I probably could have left that alone if I had waited for this candle, then placed my trail stop. I would not have been stopped out of that trade. So I got a little antsy here with my trail stop, and it cost me some profits because let me show you how far that thing dropped. We made a new low on the day. All right, but I'm transparent. I'm going to tell you what happened. I got antsy going to the downside after we had come down into that previous low, and I trailed my stop too quickly. I went ahead and trailed it on this candle rather than waiting for that next target to trail the stop. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Next trade I took, and the final trade of the day, was down here. We flushed down below my zone. You can see that. But at this point right here, the ES futures were at their lower trendy weekly edge. And I have been waiting all week to take a trade from that level. That alert went off. I've had it as an alert on my chart all week. When that alert went off, I waited. I went to a 3-minute chart. I waited for a higher low. Then, once it broke above the body, I went long and I exited right here at the PMZ for my final trade today, and the account was up right at 10%. So, great trading day for me, trading the levels, waiting for confirmation before going long or short in the zones. Uh, it was a nice day in SPX day trading, and I didn't do really anything spectacular. It wasn't like I did everything perfect. I told you, I got stopped out on this trade. The risk to reward wasn't there. I shouldn't have taken the trade. I got stopped out. I trail stopped this too soon. And honestly, think about it. So I'm stopped out here. I'm coming off of a loss. Think about the emotions. Everyone has them. If people say they don't, they're probably fibbing a little. But I was stopped out on the previous trade. So I'm getting antsy, right? I've got a winner here and I just trail stopped it too early. So there were mistakes that I made. I wrote them in my journal, and I will review that journal and try to do better next time. But overall, I had a good day trading SPX. Now I want to talk about one new swing trade that I opened today. It's just a starter position. This trade idea was shared if you watched my live session on Saturday. I gave these levels ahead of time on IWM. You would have known that my plan was to go long from this daily buy zone. I was patient. I waited for higher lows on a 1 hour chart. Once I got that and a break above, I started the position, and now I'm looking to either add on a further dip, maybe tomorrow, maybe next Monday, I don't know. But if we dip down to the lower half of this zone, I will be adding with confirmation to a full allocation. I have immediate resistance at 241.01, but ultimately my target is here at 243.90 by the all-time high 247.18. So that is what I did today in the markets. I hope you had a great day of trading. If you're not a member of the Trendy Room at Simpler Trading or the SPX Room at Simpler Trading, I invite you to join Trendy John and myself as we educate and trade live every single day. I'll see you in the next video.